Well, hello hyperspace, my name is Davontos and it's time to get hyped because this is some Infinite Warfare gameplay, and in this gameplay we're actually going to talk about something that I'm really happy about, and it's about World War II. And you know Davontos always likes to roast World War II, and this is a huge opportunity for me to roast World War II. So here's a big warning: if you are a World War II fan, at least Call of Duty World War II, I suggest you don't watch this video, because I'm going to be trolling, I'm going to be hating, I'm going to be roasting, I don't give a shit, and it's going to happen anyway. So let's actually get started with this. Let's start off with Call of Duty World War II's release and the hype leading up to it. So, it had a massive amount of hype prior to its release. Everybody was talking about it. You see it on newspapers, you see it up on Wall Street, you see it everywhere. Everybody is talking about World War II because it's supposedly the Call of Duty going back to its roots, boots on the ground, and I discussed in a couple of videos before this how it's not an old school Call of Duty, but you know, you can watch that video if you want. But anyway, a lot of people were really disappointed when they decided to play it and saw that, well, it wasn't an old school COD, where the game launched, it had a terrible launch day, the servers were messed up, it was really buggy, people were opening supply drops and not getting a single thing out of it, people were putting money in supply drops and still not getting anything out of it, basically Call of Duty stealing the money, what else was new? And we actually had some people complain to Michael, whatever the dude's name is, Sledgehammer Man, we had people complain to Sledgehammer Man, and they went quiet! They went quiet because they already got the payments on the game's launch, so they don't really care. They got their money. And then come the first DLC drop, which I think it's live, or it should be coming live really soon. That's when they started being active again. Yeah, you guys, but you didn't notice that. Once the game launched, they went quiet because they got their payments. And then they stay quiet until the first DLC comes up. And then when the first DLC comes out, because they want to make the sales on the DLC, that's when they decide to be active up on social media and talk to you guys. And I bet you, once this first DLC launches, they're probably going to go quiet again until the next DLC, because, you know, all they want is a payment. They don't care about the game. And, well, I actually want to talk about how World War II is, how it's surviving out in the world today. So let's actually compare it to Infinite Warfare. You know, the Call of Duty that a lot of people hate for some reason. So I'm actually going to say Infinite Warfare didn't do great, right? I know it didn't do great. The beta was awful. I even made a video saying how awful the beta was, and I still think the beta for Infinite Warfare was just terrible. The game launched, it was incomplete, but I mean, it didn't have a lot of bugs like World War II did. I mean, it was an incomplete game, but I mean, what would you rather have? A game that's basically in beta stages and is still playable? Or a complete game that you can't even play at all? I would prefer to stick with a game that's basically in the beta stages as they add things on later on in the year. So, you had Infinite Warfare that wasn't so great. Yeah, you can say they slapped on the Modern Warfare bundle to make some more cash out of it, but you can still buy Infinite Warfare on its own, and that's what we're actually going to focus on. Infinite Warfare as a lone title versus World War II as a lone title. Modern Warfare Remastered on the side. We're just comparing IW and World War II. So, IW wasn't really doing that good in the sales, right? You had game shops selling them. Some game shops were actually doing this. You can buy Infinite Warfare, the standalone edition, for $1. Now, that's insane, because that's basically as much as you would pay for some phone games. And here you are paying $1 and you get an entire Call of Duty game, multiplayer, zombies, and campaign for $1. And obviously, you know, if you want the DLC, you have to, you know, pay for that. But the full game in general is just $1. That made Infinite Warfare basically the worst Call of Duty in history, because it wasn't making any sales to a point where shops were selling it for $1 just to get rid of it. And that's saying a lot. That means Infinite Warfare was not doing good at all. Ooh, mama, but then we step in the World War II category, which did even worse. How can it be worse when the big dogs themselves, the guys who made Call of Duty, good old Activision, they themselves, we're not talking about no shops. See, what happens is, let's actually use GameStop for a bit, right? GameStop orders from Activision, and Activision says, hey, I'll give you 10 copies of World War II for, let's say, $20. And then GameStop buys it for $20, and then they put it on their shelves, each selling for example, $50. That's how they make their profit. So, they said that nobody's buying, GameStop said nobody's buying Infinite Warfare, so let's just sell it for $1, get it out of here, right? At least we make some bit of profit. What's happening with World War II is the big dogs themselves, you know, the company that actually makes the games, they were giving away copies of World War II for free. And that's actually coming from the big dogs. No game shop. It's actually from Activision. They were going into people's emails and emailing them a code for a free copy of World War II. Downloadable copy, but it's still a free copy of World War II. That officially makes, confirmed by the big dogs who actually made the game, they had a better chance of selling Infinite Warfare than they did selling World War II. And it's so ironic how World War II was made by Sledgehammer, the same guys who introduced the jetpacks to Call of Duty and kind of screwed Call of Duty over with Advanced Warfare, and then Treyarch comes on, they try to fix it, and how Infinity Ward comes on, and they basically fix the entire supply drop system and the currency and so on, and at least in my opinion and some other people's opinion, despite Infinite Warfare being a bad game, just how it plays out and how it functions, it's more balanced than Black Ops 3, because you have Black Ops 3's broken guns, like that disc saucer gun, and what was it, the VMP, that broken gun. If you play Infinite Warfare, it's very, very difficult to find an overpowered gun, aside from one of the variants for the minigun. Other than that, all the other guns seem pretty balanced, so you can basically say Sledgehammer made something, they screwed it up, Treyarch comes, they fix it up as best as they can, and they did a pretty good job, and then Infinity Ward comes on, and then in statistic standpoints, they kind of fix up how the game should be played with jetpacks. And then, well, here comes Sledgehammer again, making World War II, and well, here they go, they screw it all over again. So I guess this year's 2018 Treyarch Call of Duty is going to be a little better than World War II, and maybe next year Infinity Ward's going to have to fix up the little nooks and crannies that Treyarch missed. So, if you like this video, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people won't like it, some of you would, whatever. If you like this video, punch that like button with a mighty force. You can follow me up on Twitter at DavontosMan. And as always, I'll see all of you in the next video. Have a nice day!